Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. The sky of Klyros is torn, blazing red like dried blood. Sand and dust howl, lashing the steel walls of the settlement, sharp as a blade. The desert stretches endless, where the husks of spacecraft lie exposed, relics of dreams long extinguished. In the camps, people burn memories, papers, photographs, fragments from Earth. Ashes drift like ghostly snow, clinging to cracked windows. No one weeps. On Klyros, tears are worth more than blood. Jacob Harrow pulls his scarf over his face, stepping through a pile of smoldering ash. The sandstorm claws at his boots, each step crunching, a whisper of survival. He's not here to search, he tells himself, repeating it like a prayer. But his eyes scan the open-air market. Crooked steel cages huddle under flickering plasma lights. The auction is over, leaving only darkness and the groan of machinery, the dying breath of a world on its last legs. The market is deserted. The slavers have gone, taking their living wares, chain-branded creatures. Only trash remains, broken cages, and the stench of machine oil mixed with fear. Jacob walks slowly, hands in the pockets of his tattered coat. His fingers brush a shard of metal, a remnant of his ship. He keeps it, not knowing why. Maybe to remember. Maybe to hurt. Then he sees it. In the farthest corner of the market, in a forgotten steel cage, is a creature like nothing he's ever seen. Not human. Its slender body is covered in shimmering silver scales, faintly glowing. Arms hug its knees, and its hair, if it can be called hair, is strands of pale blue light, flickering like a dying ship's beacon. It's still, not breathing, at least not in a way Jacob understands. Silent, but not asleep. A heavy silence, as if the gods have stopped caring. He approaches, boots grinding rubble. The cage is ice-cold, thin frost clinging to it. "They forget you?" he asks, voice hoarse, swallowed by the wind. No answer. Closer, he sees its eyes, two white voids, no pupils, deep as the cosmos. Not dead, but not alive. A lost signal, faint, waiting for someone to catch it. Jacob stands, his breath forming clouds, dissolving in the dry air. He's no hero. Once, he was an engineer, fixing ships that carried others' dreams. But an explosion in orbit stole his crew, friends, family. Fire, debris, screams. Jacob ran. Saved no one. The void in him now is wider than the desert, swallowing pieces of his soul every day. But this creature, abandoned like refuse, worthless in a world that's lost all value, makes him pause. Not pity, he lost that long ago. It's defiance, silent, against letting one more thing be erased. He kneels by the cage, touching cold steel. Frost melts under his fingers, leaving wet streaks. The creature doesn't move, but its glowing hair flickers, like a heartbeat clinging to life. He looks around. No one cares. The market is a graveyard for the discarded. This creature is just another tomb. But Jacob doesn't turn away. He stands, breathing deep, the scent of sand and metal filling his lungs. His hand touches the cage's lock, thumb brushing the biometric scanner. The screen flashes, unit unidentified, no value. He hesitates, just a second. Then presses. The cage opens with a dry rasp. Jacob steps in, kneels by the creature. It's light, like it's made of light itself. He shrugs off his coat, wrapping it around the frail form, careful, as if it might shatter. As he lifts it, the white eyes flicker, not opening, but like a spark in the dark. The sandstorm howls outside, but Jacob doesn't hear. He holds the creature close, stepping over trash and indifferent gazes. His outpost is at the desert's edge, a patched steel tent, solar panels faded and whining under the wind. Inside, a plasma heater groans, its warmth feeble, like an apology. He lays the creature on an old mattress, checking, no pulse, no breath. Only the glowing hair flickers, like Morse code no one deciphers. He mixes a nutrient solution, the last in his stores. He touches the cup to its lips, a drop spills. It trembles, like waking from a long dream. Its lips move, sipping hesitantly. Jacob sits back, steam rising from the cup. In the tent, amid the sound of sand battering the walls, he feels a shift. Not because the creature lives. Because he didn't turn away. No one by it. A gruff voice cuts through, sharp as a sand blade. Jacob turns, facing the market overseer. The man's face is a map of scars, relics of battles no one remembers. He holds an energy cigarette, its red tip smoldering, green smoke curling like a specter. That thing's scrap. Doesn't talk, doesn't do anything. Just sits there, glowing like a breathing rock. We were gonna toss it in the recycler. Jacob doesn't look up. His eyes are fixed on the creature in the cage, its glowing hair flickering pale blue, faint as a lost ship's beacon. What is it? He asks, voice low, almost a whisper, as if afraid to break something fragile. The overseer shrugs, his torn coat rustling. Who knows? Shipped in from beyond the belt. Maybe a prototype, maybe some alien idol. Doesn't matter. Want it? Take it. Free. Just sign the papers. He smirks, a crooked grin showing yellow teeth. But don't regret it, engineer. Jacob doesn't answer. He stands, his breath forming small clouds in the dry air. The creature's glowing hair flickers, slow, like a heartbeat fighting to endure. He's no savior. No good man. Not anymore, not since fire swallowed his ship, his family. But seeing this creature, nameless, valueless, left like trash, he feels a crack in his chest, where the void usually devours all feeling. He steps to the biometric scanner, hand trembling, not from cold. The screen flares, red and cold, unit unidentified, no commercial value. He signs, fingers moving fast, as if pausing would make him reconsider. The cage door opens, rasping like a machine's final breath. Jacob steps in, kneels by the creature. It's light, terrifyingly so, like it's made of light and air. Its skin, if it can be called skin, is ice cold, silver scales shimmering faintly under plasma light. He shrugs off his coat, wrapping the frail body, careful, as if it might shatter. As he lifts it, the white eyes flicker, not opening, but like a spark in the dark, a wordless whisper. The overseer snorts behind him. You'll regret it, engineer. That thing's not worth a drop of water. Jacob doesn't turn back. The sandstorm howls, lashing his face, but he doesn't hear. He holds the creature close, stepping through trash and the market's indifferent stares. The stragglers, smugglers, traders, refugees, watch, not with curiosity, but the apathy of those used to seeing failure. He doesn't care. His boots find the path through the desert, grinding sand, each step heavy but resolute. His outpost is at the desert's edge, a patched steel tent, solar panels faded and whining under the wind. Inside, the plasma heater hums, its warmth feeble, a belated apology. He lays the creature on an old mattress, the worn fabric caked with sand. He checks, no pulse, no breath, only the glowing hair flickering, slow, like undeciphered Morse. He rummages through his stores, finding a cup of nutrient solution, the last he has. Murky, chemical-smelling, but it's all there is. He touches the cup to its lips, a drop spills, rolling over silver scales. The creature trembles, like waking from a long dream. Its lips move, sipping hesitantly, as if unsure it's still alive. Jacob sits back, steam rising from the cup, dissolving in the dry air. Sand batters the tent walls, steady, like Klyros' heartbeat. He looks at the creature, its glowing hair flickering, faint but unyielding. He doesn't know why he's doing this. Doesn't know what it is, where it's from. Only knows that seeing it, left behind after everything else was bought, sold, taken, he couldn't walk away. Not compassion. A refusal to let the desert swallow one more thing. Outside, the wind shifts, howling louder, as if Klyros is warning him. Jacob stands checking the tent's door. The lock holds, but the solar panels hum, nearly drained. He'll have to go to the market, find new cells, despite the danger. Smugglers don't forgive the weak, and Jacob, with this creature, is now prey. But he doesn't look at the creature with regret. Only a strange feeling, like he's found a broken piece of himself. The sand stops falling by morning, leaving an eerie stillness, as if Klyros is holding its breath. Jacob stands by the window, gazing at the desert, a sea of bleached bones under the red glare. Wrecked spacecraft lie scattered, crumpled, like nameless graves. Inside the tent, the plasma heater's warmth fades, groaning like a dying beast. The creature, still nameless, lies on the old mattress, wrapped in a tattered thermal blanket. Its glowing hair is brighter, flickering pale blue in a mysterious rhythm, like a beacon from a forgotten place. It hasn't spoken, hasn't moved, but its white eyes are wide, staring into the void, as if hearing a sound beyond human ears. Jacob turns, wiping sand from an old control panel. The screen flickers, warning of dwindling power. The heater will last a few hours at best. He'll have to go out, return to the market, find energy cells. The thought twists his stomach. The market isn't just for trading. Smugglers, predators, always lurk. A lone engineer with worn boots and a near-dead plasma pistol is easy prey. He glances at the creature, its glowing hair flickering, as if trying to speak. He's not sure he can protect it, or himself. He sits by the mattress, keeping a distance, as if afraid to disturb its silence. "Got a name?" he asks, voice low, knowing it's futile. He asked last night, and the night before, met only with silence. But this time it stirs. A strand of glowing hair flares, like a tiny flame igniting. A sound hums, not words, but a low frequency, resonating deep in Jacob's chest, like the heartbeat of an ancient machine. He frowns, leaning closer, gripping the mattress edge. The sound stops, but its white eyes lock onto him, not afraid, only curious, as if seeing through him, to a place he can't perceive. "All right," he says softly, his voice gentle, like when he spoke to his crew, before fire took them. "Take your time." He doesn't know why he says it, only that the creature's silence isn't empty. It's listening, or waiting. He stands, rummaging through the tent's corner, finding a metal shard, a jagged remnant of his ship, cold and sharp. He hands it to the creature, not sure why, just instinct, as if it might understand. Its silver fingers touch the metal, and instantly, images flash in Jacob's mind. Not his memories. A colossal ship, shimmering like a star, shatters in space, debris falling like a meteor shower. A distant planet, its sky deep blue, filled with creatures like this one, their glowing hair radiant, singing songs of light, weaving a living galaxy. Then darkness comes. Machines roar, fire consumes, the creatures are chained, dragged away. An invasion, brutal, unexplained. Jacob flinches, the metal shard clattering to the floor. His breath is heavy, heart pounding. The creature watches, unafraid, waiting, its white eyes bright as twin moons. "You're trying to tell me something," he whispers, voice trembling, not from fear, but because something just touched the void in his chest. "And I'll figure it out." He picks up the shard, placing it back in the creature's hand, but it doesn't touch it again. Its glowing hair flickers slowly, as if exhausted. Jacob sits back, watching it, then the desert through the window. The wind rises, sand hissing through wall cracks, like a warning. He stands, checking his plasma pistol. Half a charge, enough for a few shots. He ties a scarf around his face, preparing for the market. But before leaving, he turns to the creature. "If I don't come back," he says, voice low, "stay here. Don't go out." It doesn't answer, only watches, its wide eyes brighter, as if memorizing him. Jacob opens the door, sand lashing his face, cold and biting. He steps out, boots grinding sand, each step heavy but unflinching. In the tent, the creature's glowing hair flickers faint, like an unspoken promise. That night, Jacob doesn't sleep. He sits by the creature, now called Lumen, for the pale blue light of its glowing hair, flickering like a beacon in the dark. Lumen doesn't speak, but it moves slowly, as if relearning how to exist. Its silver fingers touch objects in the tent, an old control panel, broken cables, a rusted steel fragment. Each touch sends a new frequency, low and deep, like whispers from Klyros' core. Images flash in Jacob's mind, fragments of memories not his own, alien skies, songs of light, ships vanishing in fire. He scribbles them down, sketching rough diagrams on the steel wall, hands trembling from cold and the unknown. Once, Lumen touches an old, dust-covered radio in the tent's corner. Static shifts to a melody, not human, but heart-wrenching, like the song of 1,000 beings entwined. Jacob sits, motionless, tears rolling down his cheeks, hot in the desert's chill. He doesn't know why he cries, only that the melody touches the void in him, where memories of his crew still burn. "You carry a whole world inside you," he whispers, voice hoarse. "I won't let it die." Dawn breaks, red and merciless. The roar of engines tears through the desert's silence. Jacob bolts up, rushing to the window. Through cracked glass, he sees 3 figures on terrain vehicles, weapons glinting under the red light. Not common smugglers, but mercenaries, hunters of rare, valuable things. They know about Lumen. Someone at the market talked, maybe the overseer with his crooked grin. Jacob grips his old plasma pistol, checking the charge. A third left, not enough for a fight. He turns to Lumen on the mattress, its glowing hair flickering fast, like a warning. "Stay here," he says, voice firm. "I won't let them touch you." Lumen rises, slow but resolute. Its glowing hair flares, emitting a low frequency, vibrating the air like a machine's heartbeat. "No," Jacob snaps, gripping the pistol. "Listen to me." But its white eyes lock onto him, fearless, steadfast, as if it understands what he doesn't say. Jacob breathes deep, sand hissing through the door's cracks, cold and biting. He steps out, boots grinding sand, each step heavy, as if carrying all of Klyros on his shoulders. The mercenaries stop their vehicles, sand swirling. Their leader, a woman, a scar slicing across her eye like a blade, smirks, voice icy. "Hand it over, engineer. It's worth more than your life and this rusted tent." Her weapon gleams, ready. "Nothing here for you," Jacob replies, gripping the pistol, finger on the trigger. Low charge, but he doesn't show it. The hulking man beside her, reflective armor clanking, raises an energy rifle. "Don't test me," he growls, voice like breaking stone. "Give it up, or we dig this whole tent out." Jacob opens his mouth to reply, but the ground trembles. Not an earthquake. A deep, resonant hum, like a heartbeat from the desert's core, makes the sand quiver underfoot. He turns, seeing Lumen at the tent's door, its glowing hair blazing, white eyes burning like twin flames. The sand beneath the mercenaries cracks, slowly revealing an ancient metal structure, shimmering with strange glyphs like buried stars. The metal surface pulses, as if breathing, reflecting Klyros' red sky. The mercenaries panic. "What's it doing?" the hulking man shouts, aiming wildly, hands shaking. The scarred woman steps back, eyes narrowed, not afraid, but calculating. "That thing, it's not scrap," she mutters, voice low, almost greedy. Jacob stands frozen, pistol still aimed at the mercenaries, but his eyes are on Lumen. Its glowing hair flickers, a frequency resonating, not just in his chest but in the air, like a call from somewhere far away. The metal structure beneath the sand hums softly, emitting a faint blue light, unyielding. Lumen isn't just a creature. It's a key to something greater, buried deep in the desert, a secret Klyros has guarded for centuries. Jacob breathes deep, sand clinging to his lips. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows there's no turning back. That night, Jacob doesn't sleep. He sits by the creature, now called Lumen, for the pale blue light of its glowing hair, flickering like a beacon in the dark. Lumen doesn't speak, but it moves slowly, as if relearning how to exist. Its silver fingers touch objects in the tent, an old control panel, broken cables, a rusted steel fragment. Each touch sends a new frequency, low and deep, like whispers from Klyros' core. Images flash in Jacob's mind, fragments of memories not his own, alien skies, songs of light, ships vanishing in fire. He scribbles them down, sketching rough diagrams on the steel wall, hands trembling from cold and the unknown. Once, Lumen touches an old, dust-covered radio in the tent's corner. Static shifts to a melody, not human, but heart-wrenching, like the song of 1,000 beings entwined. Jacob sits, motionless, tears rolling down his cheeks, hot in the desert's chill. He doesn't know why he cries, only that the melody touches the void in him, where memories of his crew still burn. "You carry a whole world inside you," he whispers, voice hoarse. "I won't let it die." Dawn breaks, red and merciless. The roar of engines tears through the desert's silence. Jacob bolts up, rushing to the window. Through cracked glass, he sees 3 figures on terrain vehicles, weapons glinting under the red light. Not common smugglers, but mercenaries, hunters of rare, valuable things. They know about Lumen. Someone at the market talked, maybe the overseer with his crooked grin. Jacob grips his old plasma pistol, checking the charge. A third left, not enough for a fight. He turns to Lumen on the mattress, its glowing hair flickering fast, like a warning. "Stay here," he says, voice firm. "I won't let them touch you." Lumen rises, slow but resolute. Its glowing hair flares, emitting a low frequency, vibrating the air like a machine's heartbeat. "No," Jacob snaps, gripping the pistol. "Listen to me." But its white eyes lock onto him, fearless, steadfast, as if it understands what he doesn't say. Jacob breathes deep, sand hissing through the door's cracks, cold and biting. He steps out, boots grinding sand, each step heavy, as if carrying all of Klyros on his shoulders. The mercenaries stop their vehicles, sand swirling. Their leader, a woman, a scar slicing across her eye like a blade, smirks, voice icy. "Hand it over, engineer. It's worth more than your life and this rusted tent." Her weapon gleams, ready. "Nothing here for you," Jacob replies, gripping the pistol, finger on the trigger. Low charge, but he doesn't show it. The hulking man beside her, reflective armor clanking, raises an energy rifle. "Don't test me," he growls, voice like breaking stone. "Give it up, or we dig this whole tent out." Jacob opens his mouth to reply, but the ground trembles. Not an earthquake. A deep, resonant hum, like a heartbeat from the desert's core, makes the sand quiver underfoot. He turns, seeing Lumen at the tent's door, its glowing hair blazing, white eyes burning like twin flames. The sand beneath the mercenaries cracks, slowly revealing an ancient metal structure, shimmering with strange glyphs like buried stars. The metal surface pulses, as if breathing, reflecting Klyros' red sky. The mercenaries panic. "What's it doing?" the hulking man shouts, aiming wildly, hands shaking. The scarred woman steps back, eyes narrowed, not afraid, but calculating. "That thing, it's not scrap," she mutters, voice low, almost greedy. Jacob stands frozen, pistol still aimed at the mercenaries, but his eyes are on Lumen. Its glowing hair flickers, a frequency resonating, not just in his chest but in the air, like a call from somewhere far away. The metal structure beneath the sand hums softly, emitting a faint blue light, unyielding. Lumen isn't just a creature. It's a key to something greater, buried deep in the desert, a secret Klyros has guarded for centuries. Jacob breathes deep, sand clinging to his lips. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows there's no turning back. The mercenaries retreat, their silhouettes dissolving into the red sand, but Jacob knows they'll return, with more men, heavier weapons. He pulls Lumen into the tent, hands trembling as he slams the steel door shut. The lock clicks, feeble, as if it can hold back the coming storm. Inside, the plasma heater groans, Lumen's pale blue glowing hair flickering, casting shifting shadows on the walls. Jacob turns, looking at it, his voice hoarse, trembling slightly. "What did you do?" Lumen touches his hand, its silver fingers ice cold. Images flash in his mind, not his memories, but its own. An ancient civilization, shimmering towers rising from Klyros' desert, colossal machines spinning underground, preserving the knowledge of 1,000 worlds, science, art, songs of light. Lumen is one of the signal bearers, created to protect and transmit that treasury. But darkness came. Warships tore the sky, fire devoured, Lumen's kin were chained, dragged away. It was captured, sold as merchandise, its glowing hair fading in cold steel cages. Jacob pulls his hand back, breath heavy, as if he's run across the entire desert. His eyes lock on Lumen, its glowing hair flickering, faint but unyielding. He steps to the window, gazing at the metal structure exposed amid the sand, shimmering with strange glyphs under the red glare. "So what is it?" he asks, voice low. "A data vault?" Lumen nods, for the first time, a slow motion, as if bearing the weight of a galaxy. Its glowing hair flickers faster, like a panicked heartbeat. "Danger," it says, not with sound, but a frequency vibrating in Jacob's mind, sharp, like a blade grazing bone. "They come. Want to take." "Who?" Jacob presses, gripping the window's edge, the cracked glass creaking under pressure. He looks at Lumen, its white eyes blazing, not with fear, but as a warning. Before it can answer, an explosion shakes the tent. Jacob stumbles, ears ringing, sand and dust pouring through wall cracks. He crawls to the window, peering into the desert. A strange ship, not the mercenaries, but a high-tech warship, hovers in the red sky. Its hull gleams, etched with the insignia of an interplanetary corporation, a symbol of power Jacob recognized from his engineering days. They don't just want Lumen. They want the machine beneath the desert, and the power to control a galaxy. Jacob steps back, hand reaching for his plasma pistol, but its charge is nearly gone, useless against a warship. "We have to go," he says, voice urgent, turning to Lumen. But it doesn't move. Its glowing hair flares, a frequency resonating, not just in his mind but in the air, making the plasma heater hum erratically. "No running," Lumen says, its frequency clearer, almost a true voice. "Protect." "Protect what?" Jacob shouts, sand caking his face. "We don't stand a chance." But Lumen's white eyes lock onto him, resolute, as if seeing something he doesn't. He breathes deep, the smell of metal and smoke filling his lungs. He's no hero, but looking at Lumen, he feels something stir, not hope, but a refusal to give up. He pulls it to the floor, dodging another explosion that shakes the tent's walls. "If you want to protect, you have to live," he says, voice low, almost pleading. Lumen touches his hand, and an image flashes again, not a memory, but a map. A tunnel, hidden beneath the metal structure, leading deep into the desert. A safe place, or at least a chance. Jacob grips its hand, cold but steady. "All right," he whispers. "Together." He opens a hidden hatch beneath the tent, an escape he built for sandstorms. Sand pours in, but he doesn't look back. He pulls Lumen down, the hatch closing, surface explosions echoing distantly, like Klyros' roar. In the darkness, Lumen's glowing hair flickers, guiding them, the only flame left in the dead desert. Jacob pulls Lumen into the hidden tunnel beneath the tent, where he once hid from howling sandstorms. The space is cramped, smelling of metal and dry earth, the plasma heater's faint light casting shadows on the walls. Surface explosions echo, sending sand trickling through ceiling cracks. He pushes Lumen into a corner, pressing an old signal transmitter into its hands, its battery blinking red. "Stay here," he says, voice urgent, hoarse with dust. "If I don't come back, you run. Find a way to send your signal." Lumen grips his hand, its silver fingers ice cold but firm. Its glowing hair flares, pale blue, like a flame needing no oxygen. "Together," it says, the frequency in his mind now clearer, almost a voice, as if it's learning to be human. Its white eyes lock onto him, unwavering, resolute. Jacob smiles, though his heart pounds, threatening to burst his chest. "Stubborn, huh?" he whispers, unsure if he's talking to Lumen or himself. He checks his plasma pistol, nearly drained, good for a few shots. Useless against a warship. But he has no choice. He pulls Lumen up through the hatch, into the blazing red desert. The warship looms in the sky, black and gleaming, its corporate insignia a declaration of war. Troops deploy, reflective armor clanking, energy weapons glowing. Jacob fires twice, plasma bolts streaking through the air, but they only scorch sand. The pistol heats up, humming a warning. He grabs Lumen's hand, pulling it toward the metal structure, where sand has cracked open, revealing ancient glowing glyphs. A shelter, or at least a chance. The sandstorm lashes his face, slowing them. Jacob shields Lumen, though he knows it doesn't need it. As they near, Lumen raises a hand, fingers touching the icy metal surface. An invisible door hisses open, revealing a tunnel blazing with blue light, like Klyros' veins. Inside is a maze of machinery, walls etched with glowing glyphs, pulsing in sync with Lumen's hair. It leads, steps light but resolute, as if recalling instincts from a past life. Jacob follows, pistol aimed backward, ears straining for the clank of corporate troops. They haven't gone far when an explosion shakes the tunnel. Stone and metal collapse, dust choking the air. Jacob pushes Lumen aside, but too late. A ceiling slab crashes onto his leg, pain searing like fire. Blood soaks through fabric, dark red on sand. "Run!" he shouts, voice breaking with pain and fear, not for himself, but for Lumen. Troops are closing in, armor clanking, energy weapons casting shadows on the walls. Lumen turns back, its glowing hair blazing, a green flame swallowing the darkness. It kneels by him, touching the tunnel wall. Machinery awakens, humming, emitting a low, sharp sonic wave, like an invisible blade. The troops collapse, clutching ears, reflective armor cracking under pressure. But Lumen's glowing hair dims, the blue light fading, like a beacon about to die. It trembles, its silver body swaying, as if paying a steep price for that power. Jacob grits his teeth, crawling through rubble, blood trailing. He wraps his arms around Lumen, pulling it close, each movement a knife in his leg. "Don't stop," he whispers, voice hoarse, breath hot on its silver scales. "You're the last signal." Its white eyes meet his, not afraid, but weary, as if it carries a void like his own. He holds it tighter, hearing distant troops recover. The tunnel shakes, sand hissing through wall cracks, as if Klyros is growling. Lumen touches his hand, a faint frequency resonating, clear despite its weakness. An image flashes, not a memory, but a guide. A chamber, deep in the maze, where the ancient civilization's main machine waits. Jacob breathes deep, the smell of blood and metal filling his lungs. "All right," he says, voice low. "Lead me." He braces himself, standing, his left leg nearly useless. Lumen supports him, light but steady, its glowing hair flickering, guiding them deeper into the darkness, where Klyros' blue light is the only hope left. Jacob drags Lumen out of the tunnel, his left leg throbbing, blood soaking his boots' fabric. The blue light of the machine maze fades behind, but Klyros' hum still echoes in his chest, like the planet's heartbeat. The red desert greets them, sand swirling, the wind howling as if to swallow them whole. He supports Lumen, its glowing hair flickering faintly, like a flame about to die. They're not safe. The corporate warship still looms somewhere in the sky, and its troops won't give up. Jacob breathes deep, the smell of blood and sand filling his lungs, but he doesn't stop. He can't stop. They slip into a rocky crevice, where shadows offer temporary cover. Jacob kneels, checking his leg. The wound is deep, but no broken bones. He tears a strip from his coat, tying it tight to stem the bleeding, teeth clenched against the pain. Lumen sits beside him, its white eyes glowing softly, watching as if it wants to say something. "You okay?" he asks, voice hoarse, hand brushing its shoulder lightly. Its glowing hair flickers, slow, like a wordless reply. He gives a faint smile, though his heart still races. "Good. 'Cause I don't know what I'm doing anymore." The crevice's darkness shifts. A figure steps out, slow, like a predator stalking prey. Jacob startles, raising his plasma pistol, though its charge is nearly gone. In Klyros' red light, the figure clarifies. The market overseer, the one who let Jacob take Lumen. His scarred face twists in a crooked grin, but his eyes are cold, no longer the indifferent gaze of a traitor. He holds an energy pistol, new and gleaming, not market scrap. "You think I'd let something that valuable go for free, engineer?" He sneers, voice low, like a scraping blade. "That thing's the key to a knowledge vault. With it, The corporation will own the galaxy. Jacob clutches Lumen, pulling it behind him, though his leg's pain makes him sway. You're no overseer, he growls, voice trembling with anger and pain. Who are you? The man shrugs, pistol steady. A spy. Corporations, man. Been in the settlement a year, waiting for something like it. He nods at Lumen, eyes glinting with greed. You're just in the way, engineer. But I'm generous. Leave it, and I let you live. Jacob stands taller, each movement like a knife's cut. You don't get it, he says, voice low, steady. It's not a tool. Not yours, not the corporation's. Lumen grips his hand cold but firm, its glowing hair flickering fast, like a panicked heartbeat. He feels its frequency, not words, but will, sharp, as if it wants to stand with him. The spy laughs, the sound echoing in the crevice. Will? It's a machine, engineer. A pretty one, but a machine. He pulls the trigger, an energy bolt searing the air, scorching hot. Jacob shoves Lumen down, falling with it, sand scraping his wounds. But the bolt misses. Lumen raises a hand, its glowing hair blazing, emitting a low, sharp sonic wave, like an invisible blade. The spy's pistol explodes, fragments scattering. He collapses, hand charred, roaring in pain. Monster! He screams, crawling back, eyes bloodshot. Jacob holds Lumen, pulling it up. Go! He whispers, voice urgent. The spy scrambles, but doesn't pursue. We'll be back, he snarls, voice fading in the sandstorm. You won't escape! His shadow melts into the desert, like a ghost. Jacob looks at Lumen, breathing heavily. Its glowing hair dims, faint, as if it paid a steep price. But its white eyes still shine, not mechanical, but with will, emotion, something he can't explain. You could have run, he says, voice hoarse. Why stay? Lumen touches his hand, a frequency resonating, faint but clear. Not words, but images, Jacob lifting it from the cage, wrapping it in his coat, standing in the desert to protect it. It chose him, not because he's a hero, but because he didn't turn away. He breathes deep, sand clinging to his lips. All right, he says, voice low. Together. He supports Lumen, stepping out of the crevice, leg aching but unrelenting. The desert howls, the warship still lurking, but in the darkness, Lumen's glowing hair flickers, like a flame no force can extinguish. The machine maze glows with blue light, like the veins of a dead planet. Jacob limps forward, his left leg throbbing, dried blood crusting his boot's fabric. Lumen leads, its glowing hair flickering, illuminating walls etched with ancient glyphs, shimmering like buried stars. The corporate warships roar echoes from the surface, each explosion shaking the tunnel, sand hissing through stone cracks like a curse. Jacob grips Lumen's hand, cold but steady, as if letting go would dissolve them both into the darkness. Lumen stops before a metal door, twice a man's height, covered in glowing glyphs. It touches the surface, and the door hisses open, revealing a vast chamber, the maze's heart. At its center stands the main machine, towering like a spire, emitting white light, radiant as a captive star. The air hums, a low frequency aching in Jacob's bones. The chamber's walls shimmer, images appearing, not on screens, but as Klyros' memories, planets spinning, civilizations reaching for the stars, knowledge beyond human grasp, medicine, energy, songs of light linking galaxies. Jacob stands frozen, breath heavy, as if gazing into the universe's soul. Lumen steps to a control panel, silver fingers gliding over glyphs. Another image appears, a warning blood red. If the machine activates incorrectly, it will self-destruct, swallowing Klyros in fire and sand. Jacob swallows, throat dry. Why haven't you activated it already? He asks, voice hoarse, eyes fixed on Lumen. You're a signal bearer. This is your purpose, right? Lumen turns, its white eyes softening, no longer cold voids but carrying a deep sorrow. Afraid, it says, its frequency resonating in his mind, gentle but sharp. Don't want to destroy. Want to protect. Its voice hesitates, as if protect is a word it just learned, just felt. Jacob is stunned. Lumen isn't just a key, not just a tool. It's a guardian, created to keep knowledge safe, but it has emotions, fears, will. And it chose him, a failed engineer, a man fleeing his past, to trust. He steps closer, hand touching the icy panel. "What are you afraid of losing?" he asks, voice low, as if afraid to break the moment. Lumen touches his hand, and images flash, its kin, singing in light, consumed by fire, planets crumbling, knowledge turning to ash. But then, the images shift, Jacob, wrapping his coat around it, standing in the desert, pistol aimed at mercenaries. It fears losing him, not because he's strong, but because he didn't abandon it. An explosion shakes the chamber, metal dust raining down. The corporate warship pounds the surface, each shot a hammer striking Klyros' heart. Jacob stumbles, bracing himself. "We're out of time," he says, voice urgent, eyes scanning the chamber. "Activate the machine, or destroy it. Otherwise, the corporation takes everything." He looks at Lumen, its glowing hair flickering, faint but unyielding. "You decide." Lumen stands motionless, white eyes blazing, as if wrestling within. Its frequency resonates, not just in Jacob's mind but in the air, making the machine hum softly. "Protect," it repeats, but this time, the frequency carries a sharp will, like a blade ready to cut. It touches the panel, glyphs igniting, but it doesn't activate. Instead, a map appears, a tunnel leading deeper, to another core, where the machine can be locked forever or send a final signal. Both choices have a cost. Locking it buries the knowledge eternally, sending the signal could kill Lumen. Jacob breathes deep, the smell of metal and sand filling his lungs. "I'm not letting you do this alone," he says, voice steady despite the pain in his leg. He grips Lumen's hand, cold but unwavering. "Lead the way." Another explosion roars, closer, cracking the chamber's walls. Lumen nods, its glowing hair flaring, a flame guiding them into the darkness, where the fate of Klyros and the galaxy awaits. The chamber blazes with white light from the main core, like a captive star, casting Jacob and Lumen's shadows on walls etched with ancient glyphs. The corporate warship's roar echoes from the surface, each explosion shaking Klyros, sand and stone raining from the ceiling. Jacob stands by Lumen, his left leg throbbing, dried blood caking his boot. Lumen's glowing hair flickers, pale blue, faint but unyielding, like a flame enduring a storm. It touches the control panel, silver fingers gliding over glyphs, preparing to activate the machine. The air hums, a low frequency aching in Jacob's bones, like Klyros' final warning. Jacob places his hand on the panel, icy cold, supporting Lumen. But as his fingers touch the glyphs, a flash of light erupts, not from the machine, but in his mind. Buried memories surge, sharp as a blade slicing through time. He sees his ship, orbiting, blue plasma engine light illuminating the engineering bay. He stands amid data screens, detecting alien code, technology like Lumen's, secretly tested by the corporation. He reports, voice urgent, demanding the crew halt the ship. But then fire comes. An explosion swallows the bay, debris flying like a storm, his friends, his families, screams cut short. Jacob ran, survived, but saved no one. It wasn't an accident. The corporation destroyed the ship to silence him, because he got too close to the truth. He collapses, knees slamming the metal floor, breath heavy. Guilt floods him, like sand swallowing the desert. "I should have saved them," he whispers, voice breaking, eyes stinging with dust and pain. Images of his crew flash, Lena's lopsided smile, Marcus double-checking gear, people who trusted him. They died because of him, because he wasn't fast enough, strong enough. He grips his hair, hands trembling, as if to tear the memories apart. Lumen kneels beside him, silver fingers touching his shoulder, cold but gentle. A frequency resonates, not words, but images. Not Lumen's, but his, from another perspective. He sees his crew in the burning bay, not panicking. Lena types a warning signal. Marcus seals the bay door to contain the fire, giving Jacob time to escape. They knew he'd survive. They didn't blame him. They trusted he'd carry on, find the truth. The images fade, but Lumen's frequency lingers soft, like comfort. Protect, it says, white eyes blazing, not just for the machine, but for him. Jacob breathes deep, the smell of metal and blood filling his lungs. He stands, leg aching but steady. He looks at Lumen, its glowing hair flickering, like their heartbeats entwined. Lumen, he says, voice firm, no longer trembling. Activate the machine. We'll send the signal, not just for your kin, but for everyone, every colony, to know the truth about the corporation. He touches its hand, not to lead, but to stand together. They can't silence us. Lumen nods, slow but resolute. Its glowing hair flares, a frequency resonating, not just in his mind but in the chamber, making the machine hum softly. Glyphs on the panel ignite, like waking stars. But another explosion cracks the walls, metal dust raining down. The corporate warship drills into the desert closer, its engines roaring like a beast. Jacob turns, plasma pistol in hand though useless. Hurry, he says, voice urgent, eyes scanning the chamber's door. Corporate troops are coming, armor clanking echoing from the tunnel. Lumen touches the panel, an image appearing, a signal, not just a message, but Klyros' entire knowledge vault, ready to transmit. But the blood-red warning persists. Activation could kill Lumen or destroy the planet. Jacob grips its hand, cold but unyielding. If you go, I'm not staying behind, he says, voice low, a vow. Lumen looks at him, white eyes softening, like a smile. Its frequency resonates, not fear, but resolve. The machine whirs, white light erupting, and in Klyros' darkness, the signal begins to spread, like a flame no force can extinguish. The machine screams, white light erupting, like a star exploding in Klyros' heart. Energy waves surge, shaking the chamber, ancient glyphs on the walls flaring then shattering. On the surface, the corporate warship lurches, engines roaring chaotically, losing control, crashing into the desert, sand billowing. Jacob stands by the control panel, his left leg numb, dried blood caking his boot. Lumen is at the core, its glowing hair blazing, pale blue swallowing the darkness, but its body sways, silver scales fading, as if dissolving to keep the signal alive. Jacob lunges, grabbing its shoulder, voice urgent. Lumen, get out of there! Lumen shakes its head, slow but resolute. Its white eyes blaze not with pain, but with will. Must finish, it says, its frequency clear in his mind, almost human, but faint, like a final breath. Its glowing hair flickers, each pulse a slowing heartbeat. Jacob grips tighter, wanting to pull it free, but its frequency holds him, not forcing, but pleading. He stands frozen, sand and metal dust raining from the ceiling, each surface explosion a hammer to his chest. The chamber door bursts open, armor clanking, shattering the silence. Corporate troops storm in, reflective armor gleaming, energy weapons glowing. Take it! One shouts, pointing at Lumen. Jacob doesn't think. He grabs his plasma pistol, firing twice, bolts searing through, burning one soldier's armor, but the pistol overheats, humming then dying. Out of charge. He snatches a jagged metal shard from the wall, sharp as a knife, and charges. A soldier raises a rifle, but Jacob drives the shard into a gap in the armor, blood spraying. The man falls, but another punches Jacob, hard, in the chest. He staggers, breath ragged, blood trickling from his mouth. He doesn't stop. He grabs a broken steel rod, smashing it into the second soldier's head, bone cracking. An energy bolt grazes his shoulder, searing like fire. Pain burns, but he grits his teeth, charging, bare-handed, punching the shooter's face. Blood pours from his shoulder, his leg, but he doesn't fall. Don't touch it! He roars, voice hoarse, like a cornered beast. Lumen remains at the core, its glowing hair blazing, a frequency resonating, not just in him but in the air, like a final song. The machine screams louder, white light swallowing the chamber, ancient glyphs crumbling to dust. Jacob turns, seeing Lumen tremble, its silver body nearly transparent. Lumen! He shouts, crawling over dead soldiers, hands slick with blood. He reaches it, cold to the touch, but it doesn't leave the core. The signal is complete. Klyros' message, knowledge of 1,000 worlds, the corporation's crimes, spreading to every corner of the galaxy, from distant colonies to lost ships. But the machine overloads, shaking violently, white light turning blood red. Go! Jacob yells, pulling Lumen free, each movement a knife in his body. Lumen collapses into him, its glowing hair dimming, but its white eyes still shine, like a smile. Finished, it whispers, frequency faint but clear. Jacob holds it, running from the chamber, his left leg barely feeling. The tunnel shakes, stone and metal collapsing. A final explosion engulfs the machine chamber, red light swallowing it, spreading to the surface. Jacob hears the warship disintegrate, debris falling like rain, burying the secret under Klyros' red sand. He collapses in a rocky crevice, clutching Lumen to his chest, shielding it from dust and fire. The explosions fade, leaving only the winds howl, like Klyros weeping. Jacob breathes heavily, blood soaking the sand, but his arms still hold Lumen. Its glowing hair flickers faint, like a heartbeat about to stop. You did it, he whispers, voice breaking, eyes stinging with dust and tears. You're the signal. He doesn't know how long he'll live, but in that moment, in the dead desert, he feels light, as if the void in his chest is filled, even just a little. Jacob wakes amid rubble, red sand caking his face, dried blood cracking on his skin. Pain sears his bones, but he's alive. Beside him, Lumen lies curled, its glowing hair faint, pale blue like a fading moon. Its weak, silver scales nearly transparent, but still glowing, flickering slowly, like a heartbeat refusing to stop. He touches its hand ice cold, but a faint frequency hums, a whisper that it hasn't given up. Jacob breathes deep, the smell of smoke and metal filling his lungs. He lifts Lumen, light as a spark, and stands, boots grinding sand, each step a knife's cut. Klyros' desert stretches, red and relentless, the corporate warship's wreckage scattered, debris glinting like fallen stars. He doesn't look back. Ahead lies a new settlement, or at least hope. The sandstorm lashes his face, but Jacob presses on, Lumen in his arms, its glowing hair flickering, guiding him through the darkness. His thigh bleeds, shoulder scorched, but he doesn't fall. He can't fall, not while Lumen still shines, not while their signal has spread. He hears news on a broken radio scavenged from the rubble. Distant colonies rise, refugee ships defy corporate orders, voices spread, the truth of the knowledge vault, the corporation's crimes, a lone engineer and a creature of light who defied a galaxy. Jacob smiles faintly, not from pride, but because he knows his crew, Lena, Marcus, those lost to fire, would smile too. Lumen trembles, silver fingers gripping his hand. A frequency hums, faint but clear, and an image flashes in his mind. Not Klyros, not painful memories. A distant planet, its sky deep blue, creatures like Lumen, their glowing hair radiant, singing songs of light. They receive the signal, not to invade, but to thank. Images show gleaming ships, not armed, but carrying hope, coming, slowly but surely, to find those who saved their knowledge. Jacob looks at Lumen, its white eyes dimming, but still shining, like a moon that never sets. You did it, he whispers, voice hoarse, eyes stinging with sand and tears. You're not just a signal. You're hope. They climb a dune, sand slipping under boots, the wind howling as if to drag them down. Jacob sits, setting Lumen beside him, wrapping it in a tattered thermal blanket. Klyros' sky burns red, but points of light appear, not warships, but rescue ships, glinting like stars. They come from colonies, from people who once lost faith, who burned memories to survive. Now they come, not to take, but to rebuild. Jacob looks at Lumen, its glowing hair flickering, faint but unyielding. He holds its hand, cold but warm, as if they shared a nameless flame. The dead desert stretches below, but for the first time, Jacob doesn't see it as empty. He sees their footsteps, his and Lumen's, etched in the sand, a promise that Klyros isn't just a grave for dreams. He sees his crew, not blaming, but smiling, as if saying he did right. Lumen touches his shoulder, its frequency humming, not an image, but a feeling, gratitude, not just its own, but from a galaxy awakening. Jacob looks up, the lights in the sky closer, their engines a soft hum, not a threat, but a greeting. We did it, he says, voice low, not just to Lumen, but to Klyros, to those lost, to himself. He sits there, beside Lumen, two abandoned, forgotten beings who kindled a flame the universe couldn't extinguish. The sandstorm quiets, as if the planet is listening. In the red darkness, Lumen's light, though faint, still shines, and Jacob knows, whatever tomorrow brings, they've changed the galaxy, not with power, but with the refusal to turn away.